Hi, this is Charity, and let's go ahead and talk about reports. So here I am logged in as a teacher, and there's a few different ways I can look at my reports. I can look at, let me change this to all classes. So I can compare for like forces in motion, for example, or any lab. I can compare my classes. So I typically had 6 classes. I could compare those 6 classes. I can see that it looks like my second period class is awfully good at listening to directions and reading. My third period class, not as good at listening to directions or reading, but man, can they really write, which, good writers, that makes sense. Okay, so dark blue is proficient, light blue is intermediate, and orange is novice. Then let's go ahead and go back. So these are the most recently completed lab will be on the top. And then let's go ahead and view by class. So let's look at my second period class. So I can look at my second period and I can see my most recent lab on top. If I want to switch those and I want to have my, this is the beginning of the year, and then this is the as year, let me switch to my third period class. So this would be the beginning of the year, and this would be as the year progressed. And so let's open up one of these. So I can open this up and I can tell some information right away. I can see that Cindy needs to be challenged more. I need to provide Cindy with some tougher labs. So maybe she needs to get those advanced labs, not just the introductory versions. So like we have energy free fall, which I would give most of my students. Maybe she needs to get energy and air resistance, things like that, because she needs to be challenged more. Julian wasn't listening. Like I basically gave my students the hypothesis. So I could say he wasn't listening to listening and he didn't read the goal. So he's really struggling with hypothesis formation. And then he probably thinks that scientists need to be right yet. He thinks scientists need to be right from the beginning. So he's really off on his claim. And then he also needs to learn how to read a data table and learn what it means to warrant a claim with evidence. And then this is pretty typical. Like he's a good, solid writer, but reasoning is really tough. So he's struggling there. And then Susie. Okay, so Susie looks like the kind of kid that listens to directions, really was following along well, but she's really struggling when it comes to actually doing the investigation, knowing how to read that data table, and then knowing what it takes to have a good reasoning. Arav, let's look at him. So he is just really, really struggling as a scientist, doesn't know what to do for that investigation, didn't really listen very well to the directions or be able to read the goal, or maybe he just flat out doesn't understand what an independent variable is or what a dependent variable is, but boy, can he write. So Arav probably is really good at listening to the teacher as the teacher's walking around the class, talking to other students, and then parroting what he heard. So he's an amazing writer, but he needs a lot of help to learn how to conduct an investigation. We see that once we started analyzing students' writing, we saw that 25% of our students fall into this category. They don't understand how to do an investigation, but they can write. And 25% of our students are the exact opposite. They're amazing scientists, but when it comes to writing about it, they just fall flat. And that just breaks my heart, because if we're using writing alone to assess those students, then we think that they don't understand, when in actuality, they really understand how to, conduct controlled investigations. They understand how to read a data table, how to support a claim with evidence, but they can't write about it. And so we need to make sure that we're using Inq-ITS, we're looking at that data, we're scaffolding them, we're giving them sentence frames, things like that, in order to help them to get better at writing. And maybe we're pairing them up with somebody who is a good writer, but needs help with the investigation. Like we're going to do a lot of partnering up and figuring out who we're going to put together based on this data that we're seeing right at the beginning of the year. So we can really see this, and we could be monitoring our student growth goals, right? I could do a download at this point. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to do a download. I'm going to see what's going on here. So I can see, I did pretty darn well. My students did pretty well in the pre and the post test but that's not what I really care about. Let's do, what is my app? I want to find out what my average is. Okay. And so that's not going to do me much good. All right. So right away, let's look. So my average is a 57.75. So 58. So it's definitely novice level for overall inquiry. My question formation is fairly high. Obviously, this is an average. So it's not, it's not a complete picture, but it kind of tells me where I'm at. I'm doing pretty good at identifying the independent variable, struggling with goal alignment. Planning and conducting, we're doing okay, not as well as question formation. On average, we're needing less than 1 Rex help. Targeting the independent variable, we're doing okay, but controlling our investigation, not as good. Analyzing and interpreting, we're struggling. Warranting claims is really where we're struggling. So you know what? Maybe I make this my growth goal for the year. Maybe I say, you know what? This is where I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus on helping my students to grow and their ability to warrant their claims with evidence. Because you know what? That is a really, really important competency. I wish most adults understood how to warrant their claims with evidence. Like, just because my Aunt Edna had the flu shot one time does not mean that the flu shot caused her to get the flu that one year. Like, they tend to think that my one experience outweighs millions in a giant scientific controlled investigation. It's really important that we teach our students now how to look at data and how to warrant a claim with data, because you know what? That pays dividends across their lifetime and helps us to have a competent electorate. And that's what we really, really want, is for students to develop those critical thinking skills. So this gives us the opportunity to look and be like, all right, that's it. This is my student growth goal. I'm really focusing on remediating this. And then we can look over and we could also do the same thing. Claim, we're doing awfully good. Evidence, we're doing pretty good. We really need to work on reasoning. But even that reasoning score is okay. The thing I feel like I really, really need to work on is this warranting claim. And that's what I could choose to just focus in and hone in on that. And that's basically how we can use that download or that data. And then, I know what I haven't shown you yet. I haven't shown you how to look at individual student progress. So I can look at my 3rd period class and I can see whether I'm showing this to students or you showing this to parents, progress reports, or an administrator, and showing that 100% of my students had student progress across the course of the school year. Like, this is really, really helpful. I want you to notice that it's not always like a straight line. We need progress over time, right? There's going to be increases. We might have dips. We might have another dip. Like, as we tackle more difficult topic areas, as we switch domains, we're going to struggle. But overall, we've seen that the average student will reach proficiency at these competencies about the 20 or 21st investigation. So it's really, really important that our students get lots and lots of practice so that they can make progress and get to that level of proficiency. So I hope that this has been helpful. Let me see what I've really shown you today. Talked about the assignment by class, so you can compare different classes, or looking at assignments and then comparing different classes. I can view assignments for a specific class. So I could choose, like, if normally I would have, if it was real data, I would have 6 classes in here. And then I can view individual student progress reports. If you have any questions, please reach out. And I hope you have a wonderful day.